evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're on the way to 12,800 subscribers. And if you could click the like button, I would be incredibly grateful. Lots to talk about today. The weekend just gone. Shakhtar coming up. So many of you are so early. I don't know why so many of you were so early today. But it is good to see you. Love Ferguson of Aberdeen, Layla, Ethan Udall, Junior Films, Vivi Vlad, Icarus, Hyper, Top Player, Saliba, Jakob Fizzy, Cringe, Carter, Woodsy, Leeds Gunner, Mia, and many, many more. It is good to see you all very early for the stream. Don't know what you were doing. Have you seen the meltdown on AFTV? Pathetic. Like I said, I think I said it on a stream or somewhere yesterday. I said it on the watch along yesterday. There are people who will be financially better off if Arsenal go back to a place that we were in previously. And you can see it coming out. Unfortunately, there are people who would like it if we fell back into chaos. That is the reality. I'm not talking about AFTV there necessarily specifically. I'm not naming anyone, but there are people who know that there is more money to be made when you're in turmoil. And you can look at other clubs that are currently in turmoil and the numbers that they do on social media. That's the reality of it. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry yourselves too much about it. There has been, some unbelievable overreaction. Don't get me wrong. Horrific day at the office. I think individual players weren't good enough. I think some of Arteta's decisions were poor. There's criticism to be had. But it is the first time we've lost a game in 6 months. And I think you have to kind of, weigh those two things up. And there was a very controversial red card that once again took us down to 10 men. So, yeah, look, there's no point really kind of getting too wound up by those people that want it all to go badly for us. But there is lots to talk about. We'll kick things off. We'll kick things off with Mikel Arteta's press conference earlier today. I do start finding these press conferences really rather pointless. Actually, there's some interesting things. Apologies, I am out of breath. I had to get back. I had to really rush back to make sure that we did start the stream on time. But on the availability of Ødegaard and Saka, they're closer and both progressing really well. Martin is still not fit with Bukayo. Let's see how he feels today and in the training session that we have later on. Now, effectively, that is exactly what he said on Friday, and obviously we didn't see him on Saturday. The question for me really is, firstly, what is this injury? Because we were told that he could have played in the second international game. Clearly not. So what is the injury? And beyond that, if he is fit to play against Liverpool, will he be fit to play against Liverpool? And if he is, do you play him tomorrow night? So do you start him tomorrow night? Is that a risk? But do you need to take that risk? I think without both of Ødegaard and Saka, we really are. Toothless isn't the word, but we're not good. Offensively, it is problematic when we're without both of them. So, yeah, look, maybe he plays the first 45. I don't know, but with Ødegaard, I don't think I don't know. Obviously, we don't know. We don't know, where Ødegaard is at, and obviously we've only got what Arteta has said on it. My gut feeling is that he is absolutely not going to be back for the Liverpool game. That is what my gut is telling me. As much as Arteta's kind of trying to leave the idea that he might be there, I just don't think he is. He was asked about our disciplinary record, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But he said, playing with 10 men, obviously there's an issue. The truth is, you analyse the three very different actions and the outcome of them. The reasons are very different. Regardless of that, we cannot continue to play with 10 men, especially at this level. And he's right. He's right. We can't continue to play with 10 men. But equally, we can't continue to get punished for things in ways that other teams don't. So it's a bit difficult. I do think the Saliba one was certainly the closest to being a legitimate red card of the three. Like, I've said it. If Saliba was sent off on field, I really wouldn't have much to complain about. The thing that's really annoying me is the fact that VAR overturned it. Rory, I'm here in America, and I went to a pub to watch the match, and all the TVs had college football on. The level of loneliness at full time was incredible. Facing palms with no one to feel pain. Yeah, I can imagine. No way does Saliba red card get rescinded. It will mean there was major bias behind Gillett's actions, which the FA will want to avoid. Also gives Arsenal a reason to complain, as that could be a title decider. I agree. I do agree. I think if we do appeal it, it won't get overturned. But again, we'll talk about that in a minute. There was some. He was asked, by the way, if he planned to appeal it or if there is a plan to appeal it. He said, "I'll leave that more to the club to understand the circumstances, as well as," and this is the key bit for me, "as well as other examples that are very clear in the same position. They will have to decide that." So Arteta is saying it, right? Arteta's saying what we all know. There are many very clear examples of players not being sent off for that, to suggest that it cannot in any way have been a clear and obvious error to not send Saliba off and refer it to an on-field review. But it is what it is. He was asked about how close Timber is to playing. Now, this for me is like, obviously with the Saliba presumed, Saliba presumably missing the Liverpool game, Timber's fitness is so important. He said, "I think he's going to be close. Obviously, we have to see how he deals with training with the whole group, because he hasn't done that yet, but he will be pretty close, hopefully." Now, bear in mind, this is specifically talking about the game tomorrow, not the game on Sunday against Liverpool. If he's close to playing tomorrow, again, you would hope that he will be available to play against Liverpool. And I do feel like, there's an element of risk you can take, just because the midweek game after that is against Preston, and players that need a rest can have one. But we need Timber. Without Tomiyasu available either, we desperately need Timber, because you've got Ben White at right back or right centre back. You've got Gabriel. You've got Calafiori. If Timber can't play, you're then looking at either Kivior playing again, and to be honest, Kivior had a bit of a tough game, to say the least, against Bournemouth, or Zinchenko starting against Mohamed Salah, which mentally I'm not sure I can actually handle. After the weekend we've just had, there are limits to what I can deal with. And I'm not sure seeing Zinchenko against Salah again is something that I can. Saw Gravenberch both carry the ball away and delay the restart yesterday, but of course there was no yellow. So frustrating, those Rice-Leo yellows. It's obscene. It's obscene. Ryan Gravenberch commits a foul himself, then stands on the ball so that a quick restart can't be taken, and then kicks the ball away on top of that. No booking. It's incredible. And it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. And this is why, when people are talking about, Arsenal's disciplinary record, like, it's the fact that we've had 3 red cards just is bullshit. It's bullshit. They are 3 bullshit red cards. At least 2 of them are bullshit red cards, and I think the Saliba one is as well, once VAR gets involved. So, but yeah, that's pretty much. He was asked how Zinchenko's role's changed. Hopefully a big one. Obviously, we need him fit. Availability is a big factor to maintain consistency. And last year, we had quite a lot of issues with that. The start of this season as well. Hopefully, he is now fit. We can start to use him, and he can start to impact the team in the manner that he can, which is really powerful as well. That's what we're hoping. So, I don't know. I don't think he's got much. I don't think he's got much sort of trust or faith in Zinchenko, to be honest. It pisses me off. Curtis Jones done it too. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's creating nonsense fine margins. Yeah, 100%. The fact of the matter is, in the 5 games that we've had 11 men on the pitch, which includes Villa away and Tottenham away, in those 5 games, we've won all 5. And even in the games where we've gone down to 10 men, Bournemouth, we held on pretty well. Should have gone 1-0 up through Martinelli. Could have ended up winning that game. Obviously, it's all could haves and would haves and should haves. But, we've not even done that badly with 10 men. But it's an obscene situation to keep getting ourselves into. It's funny that a Liverpool fan was on VAR in the Bournemouth game. It's insane. And by the way, Not even just that. So you've got a Liverpool fan on VAR, and look, people can say that there's no bias, but you actively have. Are you telling me that if I was sat on VAR, knowing full for a Man City game, knowing full well that Man City were playing Arsenal in the next game, and I'm sat there and I've got the opportunity to intervene and get Rodri sent off? Well, you don't think I'm doing it? You think you don't think there's a temptation there to, well, I could do this and I'll get the backing of the media if I do it anyway. Like, there is something there. And then the on-field ref was born on Merseyside. So he's from Liverpool. Or the Wirral, which is near Liverpool. So, look, I'm not saying that they're cheating or any of that stuff, but to allow those situations to even be a thing, I think is problematic. These refs never change. They're there for the spotlight. I agree with that. They love the spotlight. They're all from the Northwest. 70% of refs are from Manchester. 70% of titles gone to Manchester. That's true. Is he an Everton fan? No, he'll claim that he's... this is what they do. The majority of them... The only reason that Jared Gillett actually has to declare that he's a Liverpool fan is because he had publicly been a Liverpool fan whilst he refereed in Australia. And I don't think he ever really kind of thought that he would become a Premier League referee. With the rest of them, they all claim, despite from being very close to Manchester or Liverpool, right? And despite the fact that the vast majority of people from those areas typically support one of the Manchester clubs or they support Everton or Liverpool, all of them just happen to support really small clubs. Howard Webb just happened to support Rotherham. I expect who else? Who is it? Is it which is it? Mike Dean that supports Tranmere. They're just. It's remarkable, really, absolutely remarkable that they all just so happen to support these clubs that have a few thousand fans that go to games rather than the massive clubs that they end up refereeing. It's quite remarkable. Gary O'Neill said it perfectly. With humans making these decisions, there will always be some bias one way or another, even if they themselves don't think there is. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That was the one for me in the game. The Man City equaliser, right? Winner. The Man City winner. I was less annoyed about the offside goal. I was more annoyed about the blatant foul on a Wolves player in Man City's half that meant they won the ball, got it back up the other end and had the corner in the first place. If that's given as a foul, and it's a blatant foul, I mean, Mateus Nunes, literally, he's running from behind the player, puts two hands in his back, and then hooks round his body whilst pushing him. Any other situation, that is given as a foul. Always, that is given as a foul. Kavanagh has the perfect angle, seeing two hands into the back of a player, but he doesn't give it. And whether it is subconscious bias or not, there is that thing of, well, let's give Man City one more chance. 100%. And I find it so frustrating. Thoughts on Nwaneri still not being trusted to play significant minutes? Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. I do think there comes a point where you're doing more damage not playing him than you possibly could by playing him. But equally, right? And this is how I would potentially look at it. If you're Mikel Arteta, look at some of the response online today and yesterday to Arsenal's performance. Look at, for example, some of the response to Mikel Merino. Now, for me, Mikel Merino had an all-right game. I thought he struggled with the physical demands of trying to play Ødegaard's role. In terms of, Mikel Merino is not someone that would normally lead the press, right? But he was having to lead the press on the opposite side of the midfield to where he normally plays. He's normally a left-sided central midfielder. He's playing as a right-sided central midfielder, trying to do what Ødegaard does in the press. And I thought he did a relatively good job in the opening sort of half an hour. He was winning the ball back plenty, had a couple of chances, ultimately, nearly set up Martinelli for the first goal. So I didn't think he had a bad game by any sense of the imagination. And then when you then also take into the context of him playing kind of out of position in a different role, like, there really didn't need to be much analysis of his performance. And yet online, and bear in mind, that was his first start for Arsenal. We're talking about a new player to the club making his first start. And you'll see, and it's only a small section of the fan base, but you see a small section of the fan base absolutely ripping him apart. And if I'm Arteta, I'm potentially looking at that going, well, I know Mikel Merino will be able to handle that. But can a 17-year-old handle that? If I give Nwaneri the minutes, as much as there are so many fans saying, oh, please start him, please give him more minutes, there will absolutely be another group that if you start Nwaneri and Arsenal play badly and maybe Nwaneri doesn't play too well, they'll be saying all sorts about Nwaneri not being good enough, about Nwaneri being this and that. And it's a difficult one to manage. It is a difficult one to manage. So I think people will have sympathy for him, but I would think people would have sympathy for Mikel Merino. That's the thing. Like, I think all of us in the chat, right? I think, or the majority, I don't want to speak for all of you, but I would say all of us, 100%, would not blame Nwaneri if he didn't have a great game or whatever. You wouldn't go after Nwaneri. But equally, I don't think we would go after Merino either, because we're sensible. But clearly, there's a group that do. And that same group would probably go after Nwaneri as well. And it's not just about our fans. It's not just about what our fan base does. It's also about the fact that Arsenal fans have been very vocal in our excitement to see Ethan Nwaneri. If he plays and he doesn't play very well, rival fans will then also use that as a massive stick to bash us with. So it's tough, but I do think we're getting to the point where you just have to take the gamble that Nwaneri will be able to deal with it, or that Nwaneri, to all intents, that's the assumption maybe that he doesn't play well. There's also, you just gamble and Nwaneri plays really, really well, and it kickstarts his career so it's very much risk and rewards. But I do think we're getting to the point where we're struggling so much without Ødegaard creatively that you just need to do it, because the Partey, Rice, Merino, I don't think is the solution. Maybe it's the solution away at Anfield. Maybe it's the solution, which we're not doing. I don't even think it's the solution at home to Liverpool. Keep playing Trossard as the 10. Yeah, possibly. I mean, look, I've been fairly consistent that I don't particularly like Trossard starting on the left wing, right? I feel like I've seen it enough to know that it just doesn't normally work that well. Because at the start of a game, playing on the left wing, he doesn't have the pace or power to get past his man, to get past his fullback. And when he comes on as a super sub, well, a sub, and often a super sub, with 20, 30 minutes to go, and he's playing against tired legs, he can get past them, or he can take advantage of them maybe switching off. But I feel like when he starts games, he's not able to do that as much. Starting in the 10, I think, is probably the best option that we've got at the moment. Trossard, Rice, and who? Merino or Partey? It depends, because it's more about whether your dog's going crazy. It's more about who you want in the 8, right? It's more about because if you go Partey, Rice, Trossard, you're playing Rice as the 8 again, and I really do just prefer him as the 6. That said, I thought Partey was one of our better players against Bournemouth, especially when we had 11 men. I thought Partey was having a good game. So, yeah, it's difficult. Let's see the dog. She's got into her teepee now. She's into the teepee. I don't think you can see it. Can you see it? Wait, what if I pan down the camera? There she is, look. Just peeping up at you. She's had, I'll tell you what, fuck me. She's had enough of PGMOL. I'll tell you that for free. She's absolutely seething with them. I think Arteta just doesn't want to play one area when we have a 10. When we have 10 men. Oh, yeah, for sure. But, could he have started against Bournemouth? I don't know. We'd love to see a midfield of Merino and Rice. Yeah. Oh, mate, Merino, Rice, and Ødegaard. I mean, God. I want to see that. But even, Partey, Merino, Ødegaard, just a proper midfield, just a balanced midfield would be delightful. Do you know what I mean? Raheem was having a good game too. Yeah, look, Raheem wasn't playing badly. I think if we'd had Saka on the right and Raheem on the left, even that alone would have made a massive, massive difference. Felt bad for Kivior, to be honest. Yeah, look, same. I mean, I don't think he's a great right centre back anyway. And then to come on when we're down to 10 men and try and do it is tough. I was surprised. Like, for me, Raheem Sterling shouldn't have been the one that was subbed off either. I think that should have been Trossard. Leaving ourselves with no pace on the break just makes it so much harder. And Martinelli came on a little bit too late. Yeah, it was frustrating. Ultra Pro Gamer, thank you very, very much for the 199 super chat. Fort Mob, Alex Baena, and Malik Tillman. Okie dokie. As you've asked nicely, and you've provided a financial incentive to do this, I will oblige. I will oblige. Let me just bring it up. I do appreciate that. Right, who are we looking at? Alex Baena. Villarreal, 23-year-old, right-footed. What position does he play? Left midfielder. Okay. Well, there's some... okay. There's a fair bit of greenery. How's he doing in the league? He doesn't play many 90 minutes. Goal and assist, couple of assists. Greenery that I like. This I like. Creativity. Me gusta. Chance. Look at this chance creation. That's through the roof. I do like that. Pass accuracy. See, this is where when you read stats, this is where you've got to take things into account, right? Because generally speaking, I wouldn't like this. But then when you look at this, without even watching him play, I suspect I can figure out the type of player that he is. And for this level of chance creation, he's trying to be ambitious a lot of the time, is what I would assume. And that is why the pass accuracy is lower and the number of passes that he makes is lower. But for example, to have that level of chance creation from that few number of successful passes is pretty impressive. Recoveries and that could be better. But no, look, dribble success, not brilliant, but doesn't look like a bad player. And then the other one was Malik Tillman. For PSV Eindhoven. 22-year-old left winger predominantly from the United States of America. The dog is sneezing out of excitement about Malik Tillman. That was a good performance, a 9.3. Wow. Greenery. Decent greenery. This is nice. He's getting absolutely shafted when it comes to assists. What's the total on that? 3 expected assists, but he's only got 1. Needs to have a striker in front of him. This is much nicer. Wow, this is nice as well. Wow. This is nice. Malik Tillman. Remember the name. No, that is decent though. I still don't think we're I still don't think we're going to go for a left winger at any point. So I'm just going to let the dog out. She's going crazy. Go on. Oh, there you go. Enjoy yourself. Apologies for that. Would you start Sterling tomorrow? I would, yeah. I would if Martinelli. I don't even think in an ideal world Arteta would have used Martinelli against Bournemouth. I really don't think he would have done if he hadn't needed to. So again, if we don't need to play him tomorrow, I probably wouldn't either. To be honest, what I would do tomorrow is probably go with a front 3 of Sterling off the left, Jesus off the right, and Havertz up top. Is probably what I would do. And then Trossard as the 10. So the kind of front 4 would be Trossard, Jesus, Sterling, and Havertz. Is probably what I would do tomorrow. Because I just think you've got to protect Saka and Martinelli for the Liverpool game. Because they have to start against Liverpool. What do you think of Semenyo at Arsenal? I would like it. I would like Semenyo at Arsenal. Been a big fan of him this season. Would you rest Calafiori, Benny Blanco, and Gabriel tomorrow? No. We can't take the piss. Don't get me wrong. We should absolutely have enough to beat Shakhtar. But equally, we have to win tomorrow. To a bad result tomorrow, and a draw is a bad result. A loss is a nightmare. But a bad result tomorrow is an absolute killer for momentum, confidence. Because if you go for, losing to Bournemouth away, bad result, bad performance, controversial red card, that's one thing. following that up with a home bad result against Shakhtar, I just think that sets us up so badly. So you've got to be cautious with how much you rotate. We're not playing Bolton Wanderers again here. Shakhtar is still a Champions League level team, albeit that not one of the top ones. So for me, look, my lineup would be Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice, Marino, Trossard, Jesus, Sterling, Havertz, and then I would rest Sterling. I would rest Rice in the second half for Partey if possible. And that's pretty much it. You didn't get tickets for tomorrow? Yeah, I've got tickets. I've got a ticket for tomorrow. There's so many tickets. There's tickets. Actually, someone earlier in the stream asked, why are there so many tickets available? Arsenal have got the pricing wrong again. Arsenal, it's as simple as that. Arsenal have got the pricing wrong. They have massively, massively overestimated the demand for these games. They did it against PSG by making it a category A, and they've done it against Shakhtar by making it a category B. The demand just isn't there for these tickets. And that's why there are so many that are available. When are you next streaming on Big Up? Let me have a look. Obviously, I'll be at the game tomorrow, so I won't be streaming that one. Who plays on... What are the games on Tuesday? What are the games? Not Tuesday. What are the games on Wednesday? Any good ones? Barca Bayern and Leipzig Liverpool. Yeah, maybe we'll stream that then. Maybe we'll stream on Big Up on Wednesday night for those two games. Late, good evening. Could never be me. Turning up late. A disgrace. I'd start Nwaneri. Personally, we need his creativity. I wouldn't mind starting Nwaneri. I honestly wouldn't. I just don't think Arteta's going to do it. Realistically, if he's not going to start him against Southampton or Leicester, I don't see him starting him in a Champions League game. But we'll see. Hopefully, I'm proven wrong. Have you played Silent Hill 2 on stream? I've not. Any stream for El Clasico? Sadly not. El Clasico is on Saturday evening, and I have a Halloween party. So, unfortunately, we can't stream it, which is a shame. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, look, that red card, I mean, I know we've spoken about it a bit, but for me, the issue is the VAR call. The issue is the VAR call. And I just don't think that there is any reason for VAR to overturn it. And that's what I've got a problem with. I don't see how it meets the threshold. Because when you've got so many other examples of it being a yellow, and it's justified as being a yellow in the media afterwards, I don't understand how you can then justify VAR deeming that one, and only that one, was such a clear and obvious error with the this season heightened threshold for VAR intervention, that they can get involved with it. And I think that's the thing that's winding me up. Halloween party, what are you for? Smithy. You won't get... I'll tell you what, Smithy, if you turn up, like you're knocking on the door for sweets, yeah, you'll get a banana. How about that? Or an apple. Howard Webb interfered. Well, yeah, God knows what Howard Webb did. God knows what Howard Webb did. I mean, again, is that what he does every game? Like, is he always in communication with them for every game? Or is it just that specific game? This one was on camera. I don't know. I respect it. Halloween party is legit. There we go. That's what we like to hear. Halloween party over our Classico stream is crazy. I disagree. I think it's good. Because they're on City payroll. I don't think they're on City's payroll, but Howard Webb talking was very fishy. It was. And this is the thing, right? And this is where I swear to God, they do this deliberately because they want to be celebrities. They want this reaction. They want people to be talking about them. Because anyone with half a brain cell would be like, Howard, if you go and sit in the stand where the cameras are going to pan to you and you look like you're communicating with VAR. Howard, do you think that might look bad? Considering that we're already under a lot of pressure, do you think it might look bad? And that is just like, I don't understand how it makes me think it was deliberate, you know? Trick or treat, Rory is a 4-year-old, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, you've ruined your chance now, Smithy. So you've absolutely ruined your chance. Raya was unusually nervous on Saturday. Yeah, he was. Raya was well, one thing, and look, this is gonna sound like when when Ty from AFTV blamed the rain on a bad performance, right? But having watched the game back, they've definitely overwatered and left the grass long in that game. Because I was watching it back. Where Raya looked nervous, he was under-hitting passes. He was hitting a pass and it was just along the floor and it would just come up short. Like way shorter than a normal game. The same, if you look at when Marino plays the ball through for Martinelli's miss, if you go and watch that back, watch what happens as the ball is about to arrive with Martinelli. Again, it comes up short. And then I started watching the game and you realize all across the pitch, we were under-hitting passes. And so I think it was just long wet grass. And look, Bournemouth completely entitled to do that. You know, that the whole purpose of home advantage is that you can do things like that to get an advantage. So I've no complaint about Bournemouth doing it, but I think it did have an impact. Now that's not to justify it, because for me, if you play the first pass of the game, you play your first pass of the game, and you're like, oh, that didn't quite zip along as much as it should have done. Then for every pass after that, you should be thinking, well, I'm going to zip it. I'm going to put more on it. So, these are professional footballers that should deal with that. But shouldn't we just adapt to that? Yeah, 100%. Not even at half time. You should adapt to that, after the first pass that you've played. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Gonna find it so funny when Ødegaard is back and our fans will still say he is just a turning player with no clinical. Yeah. I don't disagree. But it's clear as day that we need him back. It is clear as day that we need him back. Outside of that, I just think Saka is such a big miss. It's so important that he's available. We had one shot. I think we had one shot on target. I'll go back to it, but I think we had one shot on target in the game. Was it one shot on target? Yeah, one shot on target, and that was the Martinelli one. Even when you're down to 10 men, that's a tough one. And one thing I will say, some people seemingly were expecting us to, I've heard classic Gary Neville, saying that we should have still been, able to control the game with 10 men and stuff like that, and that we should have still won the game. I think that's people really underestimating how well drilled Bournemouth are and the general level of the Premier League these days. Bournemouth are a very well drilled team. Even 11v11, we were struggling. Not struggling, but they made it difficult to break them down. I'm not really sure that once you're down to 10 men, you can be expected to dominate a game like that. And I don't really see other teams doing it. Maybe like a Man City against a Southampton. Yeah, okay, maybe. Or last year, was it Man City against Luton, maybe? Something like that. Then fair enough. But any sort of solidified mid-table Premier League team, I don't think if you go down to 10 men, you're going to dominate them. And yeah, you might grab a winner, right? Liverpool did it against Newcastle last season when Darwin Núñez scored twice. It is possible, but we could have grabbed a winner. We could have grabbed a winner through Martinelli. In the Brighton game, we could have grabbed a winner between Havertz and Bukayo Saka. So we're giving ourselves the chances. And exactly what Ross Lawman's just said. Gary Neville, when he was speaking about Man United being down to 10 men against Tottenham, Said he wasn't going to talk about what happened once they were down to 10 men because they were down to 10 men. So yeah, it's frustrating. What happens when Saka gets called up for England? I just hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't. Dead atmosphere tomorrow? Probably. Yeah, I'm not expecting a good atmosphere tomorrow. The amount of tickets that are still available, the atmosphere against PSG, I thought wasn't great. So I'm not expecting a brilliant atmosphere, but it is what it is. Where I am expecting a good atmosphere is Liverpool on Sunday. Liverpool on Sunday, the atmosphere needs to be absolutely electric. The game yesterday actually shows you that Saka is our most threatening one-on-one dribbler. He has a more simple style, but his unpredictable fakes and pauses have been brilliant this season. Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's tickets for 20, not even selling. Yeah, but they're not 20. So this is one problem that Arsenal have done. So this season they've changed the tickets. Wait, let me see if I can show you. I might not be able because I've already got a ticket. I don't know if it's going to let me. Yeah, okay. It won't show me the ticket exchange because I've already got a ticket. Never mind. But yeah, basically, they say so. It used to be because you have to be signed in to be on the ticket exchange. So when a ticket came up, it would show you the price that it would cost you to buy it, right? So I'm a red member, an adult red member. When it came up, it would show you the price it would cost for me to buy it. Now, when it comes up, it gives you, it says price from, and then it will be the cheapest price. So it basically gives you the junior gunner price. So when you go on there and it says that so a ticket comes up and it says 27 quid, the reality is if you're an adult, it will be like 50 odd quid, not 27 quid, which is quite annoying. So I think my ticket cost £54, I think it was 54 quid. Do you have a ticket for Liverpool? No, not yet. I don't have a Liverpool ticket yet. I do need to get one of those. For a CL game, the Emirates should be packed. Just give the fans a discount for once. I agree. I completely agree. But we're not the only people with this problem. Liverpool have got the same problem. Man City have got the same problem. The issue is there's an extra Champions League phase game at home. So there's 4 opportunities to go and watch a Champions League game. It doesn't feel like there's much jeopardy on the games because of the new format. And they're pricing them as if you're going to watch, the PSG game was priced the same as if you were going to watch the North London derby. So Sunday is either we cook or we are cooked. Yeah. Well, I was speaking to, so the reason the stream actually was started on time was I was in Manchester today filming some content, and I was with Steve from Redman TV, and he was saying, so he's a Liverpool fan, and he was saying they would happily take a draw. Like a draw at Arsenal would be a good result for them, which obviously I find hilarious given the way that Arsenal was spoken about when we took a draw at the Etihad. But he said they take a draw, and I agree. A draw is a really good result for Liverpool and probably not a good enough result for Arsenal. So how do you get tickets for really packed games? So I have a 3-pronged approach. Obviously, enter the ballot, lose the ballot, because that's the way the ballot works. Then spend hours on the ticket exchange, refreshing it, trying to get a ticket, hours and hours and hours. And then if I get to within like 24 hours and I still haven't got a ticket, we go for the kind of the last ditch approach, which is basically to start begging on Twitter and Instagram if anyone has a spare. So that's the kind of, that's when we're on red alert at that point. We don't win against Liverpool and it's nearly over. Not winning I don't think it's nearly over. I think it's just a bit annoying. We'd still only be 4 points behind Liverpool. Losing, I think we're in big trouble. Lose against Liverpool, we're 7 points behind. I think we're in big trouble at that point. But anyway, unfortunately, I had nothing prepared for this stream because I was admittedly 6 minutes late, and that was because I was on a train back from Manchester. So we don't have any of the normal guess the non-gooner or guess the goal scorer, for which I can only humbly apologise, as well as apologising for being late. But The alternative was, I'm going to be late home. I'm not going to stream. So it was either this, or no stream. Okay, so I'm sorry. We will be live on Twitch later on. Link to Twitch is down in the description. We are continuing to evolve Miles Lewis Skelly, which is going to be fun. And then I won't be live on here tomorrow because I'll be at the game, and I will be back live on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday on here. So there we go. As always, you can go and join the Discord, link down in the description if you want to keep up to date. Follow me on Twitter. I always post updates on there. Unsubbed. Oh dear. I'm sorry. But look, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic evening. Please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff before you go. And I will catch you all either on Twitch tonight or on Wednesday. Goodbye.